Good morning.
Good morning.
How does everybody like this new warm weather? Yeah. What do you like to do now that it's warm? What do you like to do that you couldn't do in the winter? Play outside. My kind of girl. Okay. She likes picking flowers. Me too. I like to eat tomatoes. Okay. We all like to do things outside in the spring. Has anybody flown a kite? Yes, kite flying is very fun. Unfortunately, the kite flying books got checked out before I could get them. So we know that there's, but how can we tell it's spring? Mom's got it right. Things change. Flowers and trees and pollen and some other interesting things. So we're going to read about some spring things. Now, it's my turn to talk now. Put your hand in your lap. That way it won't make you dizzy, waving it over your head. And we're going to read some stories. And the first one is it spring? And y'all say it's spring. So let's read this story and see if it agrees, if the story agrees with you. Is it spring? Well, leaves are budding on the trees. Each bird sings a tune. And like Mom said, flowers are growing everywhere. Will spring be here soon? Unlike in December, children are playing in the park and the rabbits and squirrels run. The season must be spring because we are having so much fun. And then because it was like a poem, what rhymes with spring?
Spider.
Spider doesn't rhyme with spring. Ring. Very good. Or maybe king. Very good. This is called It's Spring. How many of y'all like kitty cats? How many of y'all like, you don't have to say anything, you can just use your hand. How many of y'all have ever watched an elephant on a tightrope? Somebody tells me you're either not paying attention or you just like to have your hand in the air. Okay, so how many of you have ever watched kittens play? Okay, remember you don't have to say anything. Well, this story is about some cats, and they play. And like children, they have a powerful imagination too. It is spring. Pitty and Pat were giddy, and giddy means kind of like y'all are, happy, giggly. It's spring, said Pit. Spring, 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 said Pat. I feel so happy I could jump over a tulip. And she did. Well, and this is kind of like kids sometimes. Well, I could jump over a bush, said Pat. Well, I can jump over a tree. A big one. Well, I could jump over a house. Well, I could jump over an island. You think these kitties are stretching it a little bit? I could jump over, what is that cat jumping over? A mountain, said Pat. Well, I could jump over the moon. Personally, I thought it was a cow that jumped over the moon, but that was a different poem. I could, remember, my turn to talk. Thank you. I could jump over the sun. Y'all are good at this. Well, instead, I'll just jump over you, said Pit to Pat. And then I'll jump over you, said Pat to Pit. So they jumped over each other all through the tulips and the daffodils and the pretty violets because it was spring. Have y'all ever played leapfrog?
No.
Well, that is a really fun game that I'll bet your teachers could teach you sometime on the playground. I don't suppose there's any OSHA requirements against it, but I don't know.
I know leapfrog. You just have to jump over somebody.
And isn't it fun? And that's kind of like what the kitty cats were doing, isn't it? Well, now let me talk for a minute. In addition to all the pretty plants and all the pretty smells and all the not so pretty pollen, there's something else that happens in the spring.
I will teach you how to play
my turn to talk. And this is really cool if you live like out on a farm or you get to drive around somewhere out in the country and see some of these things. But this is something else that's really cool about in the spring. In the spring, the ewe had a lamb, and the cat had kittens. The cow had a calf, a baby cow. Oh, and the sow had piglets. Very good. Oh, what is this? Does anybody know what this one is?
Yeah.
The goat. The nanny goat had a little kid. And the hen had
A baby chick.
chicks, exactly.
Little baby chicken.
And the duck had
Baby duck.
ducklings, exactly.
And one duck.
And the goose had little baby geese called goslings. And the mare had a foal, a little colt,
Horsey.
a little horsey. Oh my goodness. And the farmer's wife had twins. Yay, that means 2 babies at once. The end. A poem is a story that rhymes, and sometimes they're funny. And I like poems, and I especially like poems that rhyme and are funny. And because part of our craft today, which involves finger painting, is going to have, one of our things has an umbrella, I thought somebody might like to paint their umbrella blue and have a good reason why. So these aren't scanned, so everybody can scooch where you can see it, and I'm going to hold it up, and I'm going to read you a bunch of different little poems that have to do with things in the spring. If I don't trip on my cord. Okay, everybody, let's, y'all scooch up. Y'all can sit up. Your backs are not as old as mine, and I'm sitting up straight. Come on. So this was a what? Oh, you didn't have to get too close. Not too close. Beneath a blue umbrella, a melon seller sat, selling yellow melons, succulent and fat. A huge and happy hippo made the seller mad when he swallowed all the melons that the melon seller had. My goodness, what if you were selling melons and a hippo came and swallowed them? That would not be good. In the Mississippi Valley, in an old magnolia tree, sat a mockingbird one morning, singing loud and merrily. Breezes carried off the music, so that afternoon by 3, all the children danced together in the hills of Tennessee. Who knows what a secret is? But you know, it's only a secret if you keep it. Because I had a little secret I couldn't wait to tell, so I whispered it to Willa, who repeated it to Nell, and Nell had to tell Belinda, who told Lauren and Lenore, and I think my little secret is not a secret anymore.
That's sad.
No, it's not too sad. Woo! Now, what if the worms were really that big? Well, it would be good for your garden. A little scary, but good for your garden.
No, you have to wait.
Robin spied a chubby worm, and he thought he'd have a snack. But when he tried to tug that worm, it rudely tugged him back. The worm was strong and sturdy, and it pulled him off his feet. So the robin thought he better find a smaller worm to eat. Ooh, more piggies. 7 piglets, pink and gray, who could not keep from squealing, chased each other all the way from Wichita to Wheeling. Under fences, over rails, they raced with one another. And then they turned around and twitched their tails and went back home to mother. And me and Marty decided they probably said, wee, 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 all the way home. Ooh, this is cute. Now you got to look real close. You see the caterpillar? And you see something, a little red dot on it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen what this is about. Pitter-patter caterpillar high upon a limb looked at all the bumblebees looking back at him. Suddenly beside him appeared a tiny little bug, and pitter-patter caterpillar got a tiny hug. It is kind of sweet. I don't know if I can get to it now. All right, it's a dandelion. But y'all know about fairies? Them little fairies that come out sometimes at night and play in your garden. Look in the nest on the tree. What do you see?
Fairy.
It's a little fairy sleeping. Let's see what's going on. Jennifer Juniper, where do you walk? I walk in the shade of a dandelion stalk. Jennifer Juniper, what do you see? A grasshopper playing a fiddle for me. Jennifer Juniper, what do you sing? I sing of the sound of a butterfly's wing. Jennifer Juniper, where do you rest? On feathers and down in a hummingbird's nest. Look at that. Big old frog. Oh my goodness, what's going on in the water?
A shark.
A shark? Look again. It's a wiggly shark. Might even be a snake or a big worm, and something's in front of it. Let's see what's happening. Red bug, yellow bug, little blue snake floated on the Great Salt Lake. They played and splashed without a care, happy to be bathing there. But big green bullfrog, mean and sly, watched the three and blinked an eye. Croak was all they heard him say. Whoops, they yelled, and they swam away.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that hit home. Yeah, but that was the part that just sing up.
Yeah, I think that's probably about, well, one more. I went to Wisconsin to milk a round cow. I made the cow mad, for I did not know how. She kicked over the pail and spilled every drop. So the next time I go there, I'm taking a mop. Well, now, I hope we don't need a mop for what we're about to do, but I need y'all to give me just a minute to put the paint out. I'm going to put it in little containers and put it on the table. So, yeah, like right now, I'm going to go back there. I'm going to go back there and get the paint ready. Then we got two different pictures. You can either do an umbrella with some raindrops, because I just thought raindrops and fingerprints and blue paint, and there I went from there. And we've also got one that's a flower. And flowers, you know, you can take your fingers and do the yellow around it. Now, big kids, little kids, parents in between, this is finger paint. So we don't eat it, we don't put in our brother's hair, and you know, that kind of stuff. You know the rules, right? Cool. All right. This is just pretty.